Yeah, I was like, talking to my. Yeah.
Is that just for the office?
It's not a big deal.
I think we're good to go. So today I'm going to present Google Tool Basics, and I am Sarah Lenscomb. I'm an instructional technologist for Moffat County School District. I taught kindergarten for 6 years and then moved to 3rd grade last year, and now this is my first year in this position. So if we have any other viewers logged in, if they want to go ahead and comment, so we know that they're in and ready to go.
Comment about kindergarten? Well,
Comment about anything. Thank you, Mr. Cuevas. So the first thing, I sent you guys an email that says, I can't walk away. Okay, that says it was called PD Google Tool Basics. Did you guys all get that? So that is what I'm going to be presenting off of today, and it will be your resource in the future to use. So if you guys first want to log in to your Google account. Now, one thing I want to just clarify that I ran into last year with my 3rd grade students is that sometimes when the kids go onto Google, it'll actually take them to Chrome instead of Google. So you want to make sure in the search bar it says www.google.com, because if they're trying to log into Chrome, it won't allow them to. So just make sure that's like a troubleshooting 101, that it always says Google at the top. So once you're logged in, at the very top of your screen, let me go back here to Google so you guys can see my view. At the very top, we have some options. So I have Sarah Plus, which is going to be my Google Plus account. I have Mail, I have Images, and this is the really important grid feature. Those are going to be all of my apps. So today we're going to start right at the apps. And if we click on it, it's going to show you the most commonly used ones by you. So obviously I have my Google Plus, my Mail, I have Sites, Calendar, Drive. So it's very similar to like an iPad that has apps. So if I click even more, this shows me more, and if I click even more, that gets a little bit more advanced, but that's where I connect more apps into my Google account. So the first app we're going to explore today is actually Mail. So if everybody wants to click on Mail.
so much.
Now, what I'm showing you on my presentation page is that I'm going to go through basic Mail with you today, but sometimes I know it's a little overwhelming and you forget some of the steps along the way. So this link right here, Resources and Tutorials, along the way, I'm going to go ahead and click on it and show you guys. It has all these nifty, handy-dandy 2-minute videos about different things like spam mail, about labeling things. So anything you need here, even how to set up your iPhone to your mail, this has all the tutorials and videos. So along the way today, I tried to link a resource to all of those. Go ahead and click out of there. So, and then in here I have Gmail tips and tricks video also that's very beneficial. But I'm going to go back to my mail and talk about some of the features. So as you can see, on the left-hand side, I have my basic Mail, I have Contacts, and I have Tasks. So my Contacts is where I can actually add new contacts in my Mail, and it will talk to multiple Google, to the docs, to the forms, so we'll kind of go over that, but I want you to see that you can add contacts right within here, and it's a very simple add to my contacts, and then it'll let you add more information. I also have tasks within my Mail, so this is where I can add different tasks throughout the day, and then I can click off that they're done. So that's just a very simple feature within there. So most of the time you have it clicked on Mail. On my left-hand side, I have my inbox, which anything that is in bold means it's not read. And then anything that isn't in bold means I have read it. Now, one feature that Google does is it compiles your emails to more like conversations, like a text message. So if you can see here, let's see about one maybe that I have. You can see they start stacking onto each other, so I can look at ones above it and below it. Does that make sense? So it compiles them into those emails. So I'm going to go back to my email. The starred feature is if you could see the star along the side, any emails that I star are automatically going to go into my starred box. Now, it's really easy to click on those stars along the way and have lots of them. I think the star feature is really nice if you're doing something like this, like a presentation, and you need to show people a few emails or things along the way or resources. That can be a nice feature for that. Obviously, your sent mail goes into here. All my drafts go into one. And then I have people that are in my Google circles a little bit more advanced. So what you guys are seeing along down the side is what Google calls labels. So in some of the mail devices I've used in the past, we have what are called folders. Labels work very similarly to folders, but a little smoother. So for example, this one I have labeled clubs and boards. So anything, all my Booster Club, Parks and Rec, all I can move into this label. I can change the color on the side. I have features like show it, show if unread. I can edit what I want to call this label. The nice feature is, let me show you one down here. For example, this email right here is about PD. And I had actually a long time ago moved it into my PD folder, but now that this Beth Watson has replied to me, it goes back into my inbox, but it automatically shows that this one is about PD and it's housed in there, so I don't have to move it again. So that's kind of some of the cool things about labels. And to get an email in there, you have a couple features. So if I want to do this Amy Ward one right here, I can click on it and I can actually move it to one of my folders, or I can just grab it and I can move it over here. So kind of some simple little features there. One of the things up top that I really like is that, do you see how I have a primary folder, a social folder, a promotional folder, and per upon a colleague's request that works really nice, I have an updates folder. So if you look on the side here, let me extend this out, I have a plus button. Those are what it allows me, I can choose from any of these things that I want my mail to get sorted in. I think it's one of the nicest features because obviously all these promos just go right here, and I can click here if I want to delete them all and just delete them all. I can even select all 536 conversations and promotions and just delete them all at one time. So it really sorts it and helps you keep your inbox clean. Another really great feature that I need to get better at is I am the epitome of cleaning out my inbox, and I like to trash a lot of things. I think it's within Google, correct me if I'm wrong, within 3 months it will go away if it's in the trash. So if I wanted to find an email, let me see, down here I can always go to my trash and it will show all these emails that I have deleted, but it will only go back, which I found out the hard way the other day, to like the end of, or it's going back to like October right now. But if I want to do this in a better way where I can still see them, I can actually archive my emails. So if I say this one, this grading window, Well, I don't think it pertains to me, and I would just throw it in the trash. I can actually, oh, thank you, go here and I can archive it, which means it's going away, but in my search bar, I can search for grading window, and it still pulls up and will pull up forever. So it's just in the archived. It really didn't go in the trash. It goes away, but I can still search for it. The search window has some great features when looking for emails, and some new updates. So if I'm looking for an email, how about the same one from Stephanie Jeffcoat? If I type from : and then I do Stephanie Jeffcoat, it'll actually pull up all the emails from her, and then it'll say deleted message. Do I want to view the ones that are in the trash also from Stephanie Jeffcoat? I can also do the same feature with to : and I can do it with sent or inbox sent. Amy Ward, some of the ones that I have sent. So it has some really nice features there for searching your emails.
We have a question about
Yes.
the tabs across the top.
Yes.
They don't have just the plus button if they don't already have the tabs. So how do they even get the tabs?
So they don't have the plus button.
There's no tabs. If you haven't set it up that way,
Mhm.
they don't see any of that. Yeah, they don't see it. It doesn't. It just says.
Okay. So I think, let me Google this, but I think that is correct in your settings. Good question. And if I go to settings, girls, you might have to help me here. I think it's in.
It's in labs. I don't know if that's where it is.
I don't think it's in labs. I think it's in. Oh, right there in inbox. Are you guys seeing that? Did any of you guys have where you don't have tabs?
Yeah.
Yeah. Did you find it in there?
Oh.
Inbox stuff.
Under settings.
And then where it says default, you're going to choose. Oh no, that's not it. That's not it. Good question. Oh, so it's not. Is it under news?
So we're seeing now that if you guys didn't, if you don't have that, you aren't seeing that. I feel like maybe. Look at the settings at the wheel and go configure inbox. Did you guys get it? Awesome. Sorry about that, guys. I had done that so long ago I had forgot. Okay, so on your gear tab, go down, click on it, and go down to configure inbox.
So what if I want to change it to something else? If something's already got something in there, what happens to those emails? They just go away?
So if it goes into the wrong tab,
No, if my
it will.
is set
Your emails won't go away. They'll just get sorted into a tab.
into another one.
Yep. 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 And one of the things I ran into last week was one of the teachers, she had a Walden Academy, that it wasn't a promotion, it was actually her advisor emailing her. And so you can actually go into that email, and then you can, let me see. Sorry, it's hard to see. what we did with hers is we ended up adding it to the contact list, and so it automatically went into her inbox. This is where you'd report it to spam, or that's a more complicated feature, but you can filter your messages. Do you guys know of I feel like you can drag an email from your social into your inbox too, and then it automatically goes there. Any more questions? Great questions.
So how do we add over on the left our labels? How do you add a new label?
Great question. So under the More, I go all the way down to the bottom, and I'm going to create a new label.
Click on it. Just click on it. One of the emails, just click on it. I just did it. And then now you have the More right here. And now go down.
So what we're seeing is you might have to click on an email to create a new label for the first time. And then I could name it. And you can also nest your labels under other labels.
You know what I did?
So as you can see, I have keepers, and then I have my vacation label. That's definitely keeper. We're going to do a little bit of troubleshooting if you guys want to explore for a second.
Really, it's a folder.
Yep, that's the exact way to do it.
Yeah, I just did the same thing.
Yes. Like, I don't know, I won't pay attention. Right. And then
Are we good on questions, Krista? Awesome. Okay. So, absolutely. So if I go, so say, I can actually delete this clubs and sports one. If I go here, I can actually just go remove label. Sorry. So if I have the label right here, where it's showing up, if you kind of just have to hover over that label, and then it creates an arrow, and then you click down, and you can remove a label.
And then you can also make a color too.
Yep. The colors are all at the top.
Click on that same little box, little square, and at the top of that, say logo, to go to. You have to be on one of those. Is that folder though? And just slide over what you want.
In this, let me go back to the search feature for a second. This is one that I get stuck with sometimes. If I go up here, this has your, like I was saying, the to from. You can go in here and you can search also with things that might be in my inbox, in my sent mail, maybe it's in a folder. So if you don't remember the to from, it's all right there also. Oops. And my chat are on there too. The other thing is send Brittany, and then I can send Brittany a message. And I can add multiple people to conversations too. There's a lot more features in Mail that are under your settings and that you can also find in those tutorial videos, but that's just kind of the basics of Mail. Does anybody have any questions on Mail before I move on to the next app? Good. Okay. So I'm going to go back to my PD and my tools here, and I'm going to actually go to my contacts. So if you guys go into your apps again, and that should be at the top if I'm in Mail, your apps will still show up at the top. And I'm going to go into my contacts. So again, any contacts that you want to add in there, a simple way, you can go to New Contact, and you can add someone's information, their email, all those sorts of things. You can add a picture, a note about that person, or you can go up here. Let me go back. And I can do it simple right here. What I love about this add feature is, say that you have an address book or an Excel document. I always had my parents at the beginning of a year fill out a Google form. And so I, on my Excel document, could copy all those addresses, and then I can just paste them right in there, and it will automatically just add them in your list. Another thing you can do, if I go in here, is I can import them, and I can export them, I can print them, and I can sort by first or last name in the More category. So you can see within here, I have a ton of contacts, and I never really kind of go to this point, but my contacts talk to all of my Google things. So that talks to my Mail, it talks to my Drive, anything like that. So if I go to, let's see, my Moffat County coaches, because sometimes I need to just send them all an email, I can select them right here, and I can actually just hit the email feature, and it'll automatically talk to your Mail and pull up an email for me to compose right there, which is really nice. So if you, one of the things, I guess Tanner, my cousin-in-law, what he was working on the other day was creating one for all of his wrestling parents. So then it would be simple for him to just click on them all and remind them to bring this for dinner, or we're leaving at this time in the morning. I use it to send out my newsletters for track and cross country. Super, super simple. If I want to create a group, I'm going to create a new contact. I could actually, on the side over here, I'm going to, if I go to my contacts, if I do a new group, okay, and I'm going to call this my PD group, I'm going to add it there. Okay. When I type in Marco's name here, I can actually assign him to a group. So that's super easy too. Let me think of other things. Again, import my contacts. A lot of times when we were switching to Google, this is how I'd have people import their contacts, and so that they didn't lose them. Say a school had all their parents in one, we just imported them that way. So contacts is pretty simple. Any questions about it? Good on there. Okay. So I'm going to go ahead and get out of contacts. And again, resources, tutorials are right there. And probably one of my favorite Google tools is actually Calendar. So again, I go back to my Mail, my apps. I'm going to go to Calendar. And let me kind of just click off of some things here. So the nice thing about calendars is that you can share them, and you can not only share them within your district, but then outside of your district, and multiple people can collaborate on it, and it's visible. And I love how it talks to my iPhone. I share one of my calendars with my husband, so then he actually knows where I'm at in the evenings, which is nice. So on the side here, if you click Create, this is where you can create your new events. and automatically it'll assign it to, I think if you guys don't have a lot of calendars, it automatically has a work one or your name. But if I want to create a new calendar, if I click on My Calendars and the arrow off to the right-hand side of it, if I create a new calendar, I'm going to call this one my Christmas calendar, because I have so many events going on at Christmas. So I created up there, and you can see this calendar is only within my organization right now. I can add a description to it. I can change my time zones, and then I can share this calendar with others. So, okay, yes, I want to share it. And then it asks me, actually, do I want to share this so anybody in Moffat County District can see it? And do I want them to see all my events and details, or do I want them to only see that I'm free or busy? I can also make this calendar public, like we did with the PD calendar, so everybody can see it. And again, I have those settings. If I want to share this calendar with certain people, so I want to share it with Krista and Jen, I can change their settings so that they can make changes and manage sharing, that they can make changes to events, and then they can see only free and busy. So if I want to add multiple people, I can change that setting right away. And then it will feed off of that and keep adding whatever that setting you have on top is. So let me talk about some of those features and when you might want to use them. If I'm collaborating, so for example, my coach team, that IAC group, I want to always make sure that they can make changes and manage sharing. So then we can always add on it. But for example, when I worked at Sunset in the computer lab, I wanted to make changes and manage sharing so people could add that. But there's been other people that actually want a person to only add those things. So you want it to be viewable for everybody at your school, but they can't actually add things and share it. So those are some of the features there. So they want to, maybe they can make changes to event, but maybe they can only see all event details. So depending on whatever you're using it for, sometimes secretaries only want them to be able to see it, like parents only be able to see that. So that's where it goes there. Any questions about this feature right here? Basic? Okay. So the nice thing, again, about your calendars is that I can see them in a day view, a week view, a month view, 4 days, and also agenda. So let me click on a couple calendars so you guys can see what that looks like. So if I am doing something, so I'm going to click on my personal calendar to figure out if I can schedule a meeting after school along with my sports calendar, and I'm going to do that in a week view, and it kind of forms up where I'm at, where I can schedule things. So I don't have to for a new event, I don't have to create up there. I can actually click on that slot, and I can add my event there, and if I need more details, I can actually edit the event. So let's talk about some of the features in here. So if you want it an all-day event, you can click right here, and it won't ask you for a certain time frame. If I click the repeat event, it's going to ask me if I want this weekly, monthly, yearly. I can do every Tuesday and Thursday, so it gives me some customizable features. So say I want this every Tuesday and Thursday, then it's going to ask me, when does it end? Or does it end after only 10 times? Or does it end on a certain date? So those are some of the features you can kind of play in there with. Okay, so I just click, I'm going to repeat this event.
So I'm under create.
Uh-huh.
Oh, so if you click on your calendar, there you go, and edit events.
So if you click repeat, that's where it has all of those features. So I can also add a location. So I'm going to call this cookies, and on this, I'm just going to do it for an hour, and where my house, and it'll actually search locations, which is cool. So if I wanted to do it in Denver, that would be awesome. Okay, and then, and I can do 585 Taylor Street. So if I was inviting people over, I can also, on the side over here, I can enter guests. So I'm going to invite Krista over to do cookies. She likes cookies. And so what happens when I do that is that it will automatically, when I go down here, I can she invite others? Can they see the guest list? Can they modify the event? All of those things. One of the features over here also is that like in the admin right here, this is where we have rooms. So you can actually be assigned to certain rooms on there also. I can add Krista to join me to do cookies via a video call, which is pretty cool. And this is the part that people kind of really get screwed up with, and that I think we hear the most complaints about, is that if I add this to my work calendar, so for example, if I don't go down and add it to my personal one, and I need Krista to see it on my work calendar or someone else to see it, and it's not there, that's when we have problems. So that's probably the most important feature that you want to make sure is you're assigning it to the correct calendar. That's where we run into the most troubles. You can add attachments to it. You can change your event color. You can do a notification to pop up. So those are some of the features there. Questions?
What different notifications are there besides pop-up?
Where are you at, Jen? Oh, sorry. Oh, you can also, thank you. You can get an email 10 minutes before the meeting. Or 50 minutes before there.
Put on the minute.
Hours, days, weeks. Cool? Okay. So those are some of the features with calendars. So if someone shares a calendar with me, I actually am going to see it under other calendars. So I have a Ridgeview Elementary calendar I can click on, and it'll actually show up. It's in green on my other calendars, or my admin building room. Starting to get a little full, aren't I? Yeah.
But I think that's one of the best features is that you can minimize.
Absolutely, absolutely. What you need to see at once. Again, kind of like mail, there are a lot of features in there. This is where you can sync it. There's settings. There's all kinds of labs. That's kind of when it gets a little nerdy on different things that you can add. As you can see, I have my picture in the background. That's a good feature, right? Okay. No more questions with calendar. That's kind of the basics there. Okay. So I'm going to click out of there. And you guys, I think, are pretty familiar. I'm going to go back here, and now we're going to go into Drive. So if you want to go into your apps and go ahead and click on your Drive, it's going to take you to your main page. Now, Krista and Jen, you guys might have to help me with this because I can't remember. Google has, if you aren't seeing a view like mine, that means you're in the old Google Drive, and you can change into the new Google Drive. So what are we seeing around the board here?
So we have a mixture of both.
A mixture of both?
Oh, I thought you meant mine was missed.
No.
Okay.
So, and I think it's popping up, right, when they're in the
Only for some of them.
Only for some of them.
Just
So
that
just
message.
take you to the new drive?
So if you want to try the new drive, you can click Take Me to the new drive. If you aren't seeing that setting, it's under Settings, and it'll actually say Take Me. It'll say Go to the new drive or Experience. Thank you, Marka. The new drive. I'm going to leave the new drive. This will be the old, and now I'm going to take me back to the new drive.
So, would you show that one more time?
Sure.
If you don't like the new drive, you can go back to the old drive. Would you tell me?
Gear sign.
Yeah, and then I
And then it says leave the new drive.
so then I start
So you
putting
can switch back
So
to
then
the
I just,
It's gonna, the old one is eventually.
Yep, the old one will eventually go away, so it's kind of good to get used to the new drive. The only thing I've found that I don't like about the new drive is some of the copy features, mass copying folders. But besides that, it's really compact and nice.
Incoming.
Yes.
Yeah, it has some new labels to it. So I'm going to go back here, and I gave you guys before I started some important organizational tips. So the biggest thing we're running into in the district right now is a ton of sharing, a ton of folders, and people are like, I don't know where to find stuff. There's no organization to it. So I kind of explored some of these things, and here's some tips. I actually gave you a link to some of those tips, but think about how can I find, when I create a new document, how can I find this in 3 months? And Zach actually has a really good feature that he started doing in his, and he started creating tags. So anything that is related to PD, he first marks the document, he names it PD, and then might put the date, or PD Google Basic Training. Or if it's a UBD document, he says UBD, or if it's MTSS. If it's maybe a literacy class. So coming up with some of those abbreviation tags to put off right in the beginning might help you in the long run when searching for it. When you do that, you want to make sure you put spaces between your words. So not like when we name our documents like in a Word file, we don't put spaces a lot. Make sure you do PD space, then whatever you want to name it. So then everything with PD, when you search for it, will pop up. And then one of the other features we were saying is whatever your tags are, so if it's PD, make a folder that would correlate to that so you know where to put things. So that's just kind of some organizational tips there. So I'm actually going to go to my drive now and talk about it a little bit. So I'm actually going to work on my organization a little bit too, because I will tell you right now I have a lot of documents with no places. So these up here, you can tell, are a folder. Anything that has a person on it means that's a shared folder. Other than that, these are just my documents. And then these are documents that are loose that aren't in any folder. So if I want to create a new document in my drive, I click New, and this is where you can also create a folder. You can upload files, and then you can choose if you want a Google Doc, Sheet, Slide, or some of the more of the apps that you have connected. So we're going to keep it pretty basic today. So that's how you create a new folder or document. Over here, I can sort my documents by list view or by grid view. I can sort them from name, last date opened, last modified. So if it's something I did today, I might want to check this first if I'm trying to sort. And then here in your settings is where you can have some of your additional settings. In my drive, I also have incoming, which is things people have shared with me. I have incoming is things that have came in. Recent things are things I've worked on. Starred are ones that I might have put a star in along the way. And then, of course, I have my trash. So if I go to my drive, and I'm actually going to go to, oh, there's my start. Let me go to my incoming. So one of the things we're finding that people are struggling with is that when someone shares a document with you, that you aren't adding it to your drive, therefore you can't find it anywhere. So if I go off to my side here, I have a download feature, but I also have this add to my drive button. If I click add to my drive, it will automatically ask me what folder I want it in, and that's where I can move it or create a new folder for it. So I'm going to actually put that in my IIC folder, and I'm going to click move, and then now it's going to take this document and add it in there. It will still show that Amy shared this with me in my shared, but it actually adds it to my drive. So if I go to my drive, I go to my IIC folder, the document that Amy just shared with me will actually go in there, evaluation timeline. So that's a feature that is really important. And girls, can you think about anything that I didn't say there? That's the one we're really getting caught with people on. Okay, so let's all actually, yes, go ahead.
You can change the color. That's small, but
Yes, you can. And you do that, I'm trying to think where in the new one.
click on the folder.
Oh, there we go,
3 dots.
the 3 dots. And then I can do change color, maybe. There it goes. And I can download the whole folder. And I can move it. I can rename it.
What happens when you guys?
It doesn't really show you anything. Interesting. It just knows it's starred. Let's see. It knows it's starred.
It just is a way to sort. Okay.
Yep, it's a way to sort. Okay, so let's go in to create a new document, and let's do a Google Docs. So let me go back again. So let's go, so I have my drive, right? On the side, I'm going to click New. And then I'm going to do a Google Docs. Good over there. So if I go to my Google, I'm going to show you guys here. Just so if you need to go back and explore, on all of these, I have created you guys just simple links to go to that explain some of the features. So let me just show you ahead of time. And it's cheat sheets about how how to make a copy, what's in the file menu, all this. So I just wanted to show you that I gave you a cheat sheet along the way. So let me go back here. Let me make sure everybody's on the same page.
Did you get stuff? Oh, she's in the old stuff. Okay, so it's just a document? There you go.
You're good. You're good. So in the old it says document stuff. Okay. So again,
You're in the old.
yeah, you moved back to the old. The great thing about Google Docs and all of their apps is it automatically saves for you. So that's probably one of the features you kind of have to get used to is, where's the save button? It automatically saves for you. So if you click up here, this is where you're going to name your document. So I'm going to get good today. I'm going to call it actually PD space sample. So if I click up at the top on the untitled document, that's where you rename your document. So whatever you want to show up in your drive, this is where you name it. And it works very similarly to a Microsoft Word document. It has very similar features where you can type. It doesn't quite have as many fonts, but you can insert images, drawings, You can format it. There's spell check. Tons of add-ons. That's getting pretty nerdy there. And you can insert tables. Oh, looky there. And the new feature, you guys are going to be, it's back again. You guys are Google wizards now, is you can actually merge cells. This is a new feature as of 2 weeks ago. Used to not be able to do that. Yay! It went away last week for a while, though. And we were a little worried. Yep, insert table. And you can actually merge the cells in there. You used to not be able to do that. Did you highlight them? Hey, Jen, will you check hers out for me? Yep. So, from a student perspective, what I love about Google Docs and Forms and it's collaborative. So if I actually go up here, I can share, again, this document with all of you guys. Anybody that's in my address book is going to start popping up. My students can also share these with their parents. And if I don't trust Marco, I don't want Marco to edit it. I can choose where he can only comment on my document or he can only view it. And I can also add a note so when this gets shared, it will send to his email and he'll know that, sorry, Marco, you can only comment on this. You can also get a link. So if I wanted to get a link, I could have shared this with you right away. If I had a group created, like all my 3rd grade or my Moffat County, I'm trying to think, I had a coaches one, didn't I? I can add all 22 contacts of my coaches right into this document. So if you had a student group and you wanted to share one document with a student group, you can automatically, in one click, if it's in your contacts, add them all right there, which is super slick. In advanced, I can actually choose, once I've shared this with these people, if I can go back and say, well, I want this person to edit, but only this person to view. So those are some of the more advanced sharing privileges there. So I'm going to click Done. Okay. Now, up here, so say I typed in this awesome story about dogs, and my student turned this into me. And I want to go back and make comments. I can actually highlight it and press this comment button right here, and I could say, that is all you had to say, question mark. You need to add more. You need to add more. So you can edit right there, and the students can peer edit right on there, so it's very collaborative. I've done things where students are on 2 separate computers and they're typing the same story on there so they can get their ideas across. So those are some of the basic, the comments button, the tables, the sharing. It's very basic, but there are so many things you can do within this. Another important feature is that, say I shared this with Marco, and I wanted Marco to not edit on mine, that I want him to make a copy of this for his own. If he name it, and I can rename it sample of PD sample. I can choose to share it with the same people if I wanted, but then if I click OK, now I have a separate one of these, like a template, to work from, which is super nice. So I do a lot of my templates in one, and then I'll share them with Jen and Krista, and then they can have their own copy of it, which is really nice. And they don't have to go back and change a lot of things. And one more of my favorite tools in here is if you go to Tools and you go to Research, this is the Research toolbar. So for kids, it's awesome. So where I had highlighted dogs, dogs pops up, and I've got pictures of dogs, I've got information about dogs, and I can go right here and I can actually search, well, maybe I only want quotes about dogs. So it'll pull up quotes. And maybe I just want images. So I went to Tools and Research. So that, I think, is it's really nice because the kids don't have to get off of that page to do the research. They can be right there. And for those citing sources, so say I want this one, I'm going to hover over this dog and I want this Wikipedia. I can actually click Cite, and it will click a number 1, and it will cite my source at the bottom. That's cool. It is cool. So if I hover over this, I can do a preview, so I can preview it. It'll show me some information. I can insert the link, so it'll actually go to that source, or I can click Cite, and it will actually cite it for you at the bottom of your page. And the kids never have to leave that document, which is super nice. Okay, so basic there, share features. And again, if I want to move this into a folder, I can click right up here on the folder, and I can choose which folder I want it to go into. I need to be better about that. Okay, I'm going to click out of Drive. Don't have very much time left, so I just want to give you a quick preview of, I'm going to go back to my Drive. Let me make sure I'm going in order here, of Sheets. So Sheets, you go back to your Drive and you click New, or Steph, Create, right? And it's a Google Sheets. This is going to be very similar to an Excel document. So again, we can rename it. We have a lot of the same features. So the share feature is very similar in there. It still has the tool in the tools. I can sort, because that's what a lot of people want. Can I still sort within there? I can insert images, drawings. I mean, it's a basic Excel sheet. Okay, and I can still comment. If I go here, somebody on it, I can still use my comment button in there also. Okay, and then this is probably, besides Google Docs, the documents, I'm going to go back, and the last one I'm going to show you is Sheets, or Slides, which is very similar to a PowerPoint. So think about all those times you've had to flash drive a PowerPoint across wherever you're going. If you create it in here, then wherever you log in, it's there. So if I go to New, and I go to Google Slides, it's going to give me a lot of the same features. Are we good? But again, we can make this a collaborative process. So students we use a lot of these to do books. Like students could create books. So here's your title. Each student, I've learned the hard way, you assign them to a page, and that's their page to create within that book. Or say they're doing a PowerPoint presentation collaboratively, they don't all have to be sitting there. If you're in a computer lab, they can be separate and still working within the same document, or one kid here and one kid at home. So the share features are still the same. In tools, you still have your research toolbar again. And you can still do the comments on there.
You just highlight what you want to comment on.
Yep, or you don't have to highlight anything. So say I'm just on this page number 2, I can just click comment, and it's just going to highlight the whole page. But what's nice about if you're actually editing, you know, giving them feedback, if you want to just highlight that certain specific thing, it'll be there. You can highlight a sentence, a paragraph, anything. And so say my students, so say I want to do this, check the title, and I click comment. My students can actually comment back on it, or they can say, oh, guess what? That's resolved. I'm done with that. So that's slides. So very basic there. But again, tons of features, add-ons that you can do within there. So those are kind of the 3 basic I want to show you within Drive today. Again, I put a ton of links, and I encourage you guys, we have some cool ones coming up. I know Jen had already done the Google Forms one. If you didn't get a chance to look at it, it's recorded. But we have some using Google tools in writing, right? That one will be really powerful to take like that Google Docs and slides to a next level of student implementation and ideas in the classroom. So for today's work, I know that you guys might be wondering about how do I create an assignment or a body of evidence. So I'm actually going to go to our PD page real quick. So if you haven't documented or if you don't know anything about our teacher portfolio for our requirements, the teacher portfolio tutorial is on our MCSD professional development page. You can also find it Moffett School District, and if you go down to professional development, it's right there. But you can watch how to create your web page and how to show your evidence on there. You want to create a new page for this class and label it Google Basic Tools. But some ideas might be in there, so basic bodies of evidence for this. So maybe you decide that you're going to do the research portion in your class with your students. Document that. Maybe you organized your whole mailbox with labels now. Document that. So any way you're just, this has helped you to become more efficient or helped you in the classroom or helped student learning, that is great bodies of evidence. Anything else, girls?
If they don't know how to do a screenshot, Command-Shift-4.
Command-Shift-4 to screenshot anything. And if you're in our district, we'd be more than glad to come in and help you at any time with these to go a step further. But I did do some awesome, I call them awesome, some basic tips and tricks. And these, again, this lady does an awesome job. Well, let me actually go back on some of these, on these cheat sheets, the Shake It Up Learning. She has awesome cheat sheets to remind you of all of these features, and it's great for students also.
Their evaluations, of course, are in your email.
Oh, and the evaluation for your course is in your email. Thank you guys for coming. Is that it?